connected.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Woodzman Adventures. As you can tell, I'm standing out here beside the 2018 Wolf Pup. It's cold. We've had a pretty cold winter, lots of below zero so far. And as you can see, I've got the underskirting under here. And we've had a problem with the water freezing. I first had a standard hose ran when we got down to about 20 degrees, I believe it was, 25, and it froze 2 nights in a row. And so next thing I done, I got a Valterra hose and hooked to it, heated hose. It done great. I thought everything was great. Temperatures get down to zero, doing good, no problem. Every night, never having frozen water. And then about 3 weeks later, we get the coldest temperatures we got so far, which was down to -10. Then we had the next night was -14. The next night was -15. Well, both nights of the -14, -15, the Valterra hose froze. So I thought, well, that ain't gonna work. I thought, well, I can insulate it and everything and go that route. It'd be heated plus insulated. And I thought, no, I don't want to. You shouldn't have to insulate the heated hose. It's a heated hose, so it don't freeze. So what I did was end up getting this is the new and improved Series 2 PIRIT hose. It's a 100-foot, ½ inch inside diameter heated hose from PIRIT Hose. This thing here is tested to 42 below zero Fahrenheit, and this hose shouldn't freeze. So what I'm going to do is do an install of this. I'll do this close up on the box, show you a couple things, but this thing is made for the extreme cold. Extremely well built hose, and it has some different features that the other hoses don't have, which makes it cool, and I believe it's going to be a lot better hose. So let me zoom up on the box, show you a couple things, and I'll go ahead and hook it up. And of course, I won't be able to do a good test if we get down way below zero again, but hopefully probably in a week or two, you know, the way the weather is around here in Missouri, it won't be a week or two or a month, it's going to be back down cold again below zero. So let me show you the box, and I'll go hook this thing up and get it done before the cold does get here. Alright guys, pretty much what I wanted to show you here on the box was it shows a cut end of the hose, which it don't have, it has ends on the hose, but this is just to show you that this has the heated wires are extruded directly into the hose walls. It says for uniform heating, unrestricted water flow. You can see the wires here are built into the hose, extruded in. This thing is not a hose like the other one I had with a piece of heat tape on the outside of it. The other hose I had a heat tape on the outside of it, and then it was covered with a membrane. This is actually extruded with the wires in the hose. So this thing should be a way better heated hose just because of that fact right there. This thing ought to be able to handle the 40 below. We'll never get to 40 below here, I hope, but even getting down below 10, 15 below is pretty darn cold, and I don't want the water frozen up. So this here, as you can see on the label up here, this is a PL 03-100. It's 500 watts, 4.5 amps, and of course it runs off your standard 120 volts, 60 hertz. So should be easy to do as long as you got a receptacle around. You probably shouldn't plug it into an extension cord, but you could as long as it was extremely heavy extension cord. But basically you want to plug it into a wall outlet somewhere near where your water outlet is on your wherever you're connecting at an RV park or at your home or whatever. Right now I'm just at my home, so I'll be connecting it to a wall antifreeze faucet on the wall of my house and running it around. It's about 80 to 90 feet around the house to the front of the house, connecting it onto the travel trailer. So I'm going to go hook this thing up. Alright, I'm back here at the back of the house where I'm going to connect it to the antifreeze faucet on the outside here. Inside the house here, there's actually a water filter for this. And what you will need to do when you connect this, connect the female end on here, Then you have a cord here to plug it in. I'm hoping this is long enough to reach my plug right up there, but it don't look like it's going to be. It may be really close. But anyway, it's connected here, and of course this hose is antifreeze. With it being heated, shouldn't have to worry about it freezing, but what you'll have to do is insulate this. Either get one of those foam cups that goes over this, and make sure it's insulated the same way where you connect it to your travel trailer. But make sure this is insulated, because once you put this on here, this is no longer an antifreeze faucet. As long as the water's on and there's a hose connected to it. That's only when there's no hose and it's shut off. So I'll connect this up, and then I'll have to insulate this. Go to town and get something to put over this to cover it, to insulate it. But I'll run my hose around front and then I'll connect it. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm rolling it, starting at the male end, and then unroll the hose. It's cold out here, and then that way you won't have it all coiled up. Also, another thing to remember is don't put it where you're going to be walking on it, or where you're going to be driving a vehicle over it. You don't want to do that and damage the hose. So that's one good thing to think of, is placement. Put it where you're not going to be running over it, tearing it up. Okay, as you can see how close I am. It's not tight, and it's not, at least it's not pulling the plug out of the wall. It's just almost a perfect length. I may want to lengthen a little bit if I think that's a little too tight, because I don't want it pulling out of the plug on the wall. Just so happened to be that distance, and I may have to make some kind of a short extension piece to get it just a little slack, but it will still work for now. And then I'll have to get something to insulate this. We'll go back to the other end now and connect it to the travel trailer. Alright, here we are back here at the travel trailer on this end. One thing I do recommend is putting a 90 on here. This is a brass 90. You can actually just pick these up at a hardware store and putting on here, so your hose is not coming straight in and you have the downforce of the hose on it. This way your hose will be coming straight up from the bottom with a 90, and then you won't have that downforce weighing on this to damage it. And now, while you got this off, is a good time to always clean your screen out. There's a screen inside there, so take that screen out, blow it out real good, and make sure it's clean, because a lot of times it's amazing how much junk gets in it and clogs them up. And mine was a little bit dirty, so all it took was just blowing it out with your mouth. Okay, we'll put the screen back in here. Put the 90 on. And then take your hose. One thing about this PIRIT hose is too, it has extremely heavy, well-built, nickel-plated brass ends on both ends of this thing. So they're not just the cheap little brass ones that are stamped out. This is the good stuff. And another thing about the PIRIT hose is right here is your thermostat, which is really cool feature, because you can leave it zip tied on here for the situation like I'm in on the travel trailer. All of my water stuff is outside, but a lot of travel trailers or RVs have a compartment, and this is inside the compartment. But you don't want your thermostat right here, you don't want it on the inside, because it's not going to be out here in the cold. So this thing is thermostat controlled to turn the hose off and on, keep it from freezing. So you want this on the outside of your travel trailer or RV, so it can be in the cold and keep the hose from freezing. So just make sure that this is always on the outside. You don't want it in no compartment or anything. You want it exposed to the cold weather, so it'll work correctly. We'll go ahead and put this on. And I will actually be taking one of these foam things here, putting over this, and I'll be putting one over the back. You can see I taped this up, and that's just because the little plug in here comes out really easy, so I stuck some tape on there to hold it in. And then I also have a notch in the bottom here, so when I put this on there, my hose can come out the bottom of it. And this has worked real good so far. I've not had a problem with this unit freezing. And then I take some insulation and put up in this hole to seal it all up around it good, so that works real good. Got it all hooked up. I'll come back with a later video after I've had it on for a while and we get down some of this -10, -15 cold and let you know if it froze or not. I'm going to just run it out here. It won't be in the way at all, and it goes right around, totally around back of the house. It almost took I'd say we're about 15 foot shy of the 100 foot to reach around the back of the old house. We are full-time travel trailer living right now. The house we're going to actually remove someday, so we're full-time travel trailer living. We've been doing a lot of videos in the summer of camping and our trips, adventures that we go on. So check back for those videos. More things for the travel trailer, the Forest River Wolf Pup. Other videos for the Pirate hose after I do it, a test on it. And then also the Jeep Wrangler and the Africa Twin. Also, one more thing. I will post below, look down there, a link to Pirate hose so you can check these out. They make it in, I believe, I know they make it in a 25 and a 50 and a 100 foot. I would have to look on their site to make sure if that's all, but you can check them out, get you one of these hoses before you have the problems. It's a lot easier to, get the hose, put it on there. And then, of course, as soon as warm weather comes, you want to just take the hose up and use a regular hose. Save this one for the winter. Please click the thumbs up on this video. Click subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And to keep in touch with our travel trailer living Woodsman adventures videos. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.